Today we will learn about respiration. In the previous video, we have learned that living beings need energy to do different tasks. This energy is obtained from food. Living beings obtain their food through the process of nutrition. For the production of energy from food, the process of respiration is important. The process of degradation of complex carbon compounds such as glucose so as to obtain energy is called respiration. Let's understand this process in detail. Depending on the need of oxygen, we can divide the process of respiration into two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, glucose is broken down completely into carbon dioxide and water in presence of oxygen and energy is obtained. In case of anaerobic respiration, glucose is broken down without using oxygen and energy is obtained. Aerobic respiration produces more energy than anaerobic respiration. The first step of both these processes is the same. In this process, 6-carbon molecule glucose present in cytoplasm of the cell is broken down into 3-carbon molecule pyruvate and energy is generated. Energy can be produced from the produced pyruvate molecules, but the method of production may vary. For example, in the cell organelle called mitochondria, in the presence of oxygen, a molecule of pyruvate is broken down into 3 molecules of carbon dioxide and water, and thus energy is produced. In this process, oxygen is present. That's why this is an aerobic respiration. Organisms such as yeast uses the process called fermentation, in which pyruvate molecule is broken down into ethanol and carbon dioxide in the presence of oxygen and energy is produced. Due to formation of energy in the absence of oxygen, the respiration is anaerobic respiration. Sometimes, while doing work, the need for energy increases. In such a situation, often there is a shortage of oxygen in the muscle cells. To generate energy in less oxygen, these cells break down the pyruvate into 3-carbon atom molecule lactic acid. Formation of lactic acid can cause cramp. We can see this method of generating energy in some bacteria also. The energy produced in the process of respiration is used immediately for formation of bond between ADP and inorganic phosphate, which leads to formation of ATP molecule. It is like charging a battery. Like a charged battery, ATP produced is used as a source of energy for the reaction in the cell. Whenever there is requirement of energy, it is obtained by breaking the bonds between phosphate molecule of ATP. For aerobic respiration, living organisms are required to obtain oxygen inside the body and to release carbon dioxide outside the body. The process of taking oxygen inside the body and removing carbon dioxide outside the body is called breathing. Breathing is a part of respiration process. Different methods of respiration can be seen in different organisms. In unicellular organisms, gases are exchanged by diffusion. In plants, exchange of gases takes place through stomata. There is intercellular space in between the cells, due to which cells are in contact with air. They exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen by diffusion. Photosynthesis occurs during the day. Therefore, carbon dioxide produced in cell during respiration is used in photosynthesis. Therefore, Oxygen is released from cells during the day. In the night, process of photosynthesis does not occur, so carbon dioxide is released from the cells of the plants. Organisms living in water obtain oxygen dissolved in water. The fish takes water inside the body from the mouth and forcefully sends it to pass through the gills. Here, blood absorbs the oxygen dissolved in water. For respiration, terrestrial organisms receive oxygen from the atmosphere. Comparatively, the amount of soluble oxygen present in water is less than that of the atmosphere. Therefore, the breathing rate of aquatic organisms is faster than that of terrestrial organisms. In different terrestrial organisms, oxygen is absorbed by different organs. In humans, air enters inside the body through nostrils. Nostrils consist of layer of fine hairs and mucus. These fine hairs and mucus filter the air that goes inside the body so that the dust and impurities present in the air does not enter inside the body. After this, the air reaches the trachea via pharynx and larynx. Rings of cartilage are present in the trachea to ensure the air passage does not collapse. Two bronchi originates from the trachea. One bronchus enters into one lung. Inside the lung, the bronchus divides into bronchioles. Air from the trachea flows into the lungs via the bronchi and bronchioles. In lungs, bronchioles terminate into alveoli. Alveoli is like a bunch of grapes. In the wall of alveoli, there is a network of blood vessels. The surface of alveoli is thin, due to which oxygen is taken from the surface of alveoli into the blood and carbon dioxide present in the blood is released into the alveoli. We know that lungs are present inside the ribs. While inhaling, the diaphragm becomes flattened, due to which ribs lift up and the chest cavity becomes large. As a result, air flows into the lungs and alveoli fills with air. Oxygen present in the air of alveoli comes in the blood of the alveolar blood vessel. The size of human body is large, so diffusion pressure is not sufficient to carry oxygen to all tissues. Therefore, red blood cells present in the blood contain hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has high affinity for oxygen. The respiratory pigment hemoglobin takes oxygen from the air of alveoli and carries oxygen to all tissues and each cell of the body. While exhaling, the diaphragm becomes dome-shaped and thus it causes the ribs to come down and the chest cavity becomes smaller. As a result, the air comes out of the lungs. In the process of inhaling and exhaling air, the residual volume of air remains inside the lungs. In this way, there is sufficient time for absorption of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide in alveoli. So today we learned about respiration.